Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Tjack, and you guys probably haven't heard that in a very, very long time. A lot has happened since the last time you've seen me. It's just crazy how far and how different my life looks than it did just a couple years ago when you guys saw me. I'm on here today because I want to spread my message, and I want to spread my testimony, and I hope that it just touches someone, and I just hope that whatever it is that you're going through in this life, that this message right now can help you and can heal you from all the things that you may go through, the things that you don't talk about with other people. We all go through things in this life, but sometimes we like to put on a mask and act like everything's always okay. And I'm just going to be quite honest with you guys. Like the last video I made, I told y'all why I quit YouTube. And yeah, that was something to do. What I said in that video was something to do with why I stopped making YouTube videos. But I'm on here today to tell you what's been going on for these last few years since I have dropped my last YouTube video. You've seen me before, if not. I've been a 2K content creator. I played in 2K17, 2K18, 2K19, 2K20, 21. I played all these years, and y'all mainly just know me for 2K, but y'all don't really know much about me besides the fact that I was a 2K content creator and then some of the things I would say online. A lot of people don't know about me and to know the things that I've been through in this world, so I just hope that this message can help you. Basically, you know, I was just an ordinary kid from Alabama. I grew up in a poor family. I had a single mother. With two sisters. You know, I grew up in it was a very violent and physical marriage that they were in growing up. My dad has not been a part of my life, and even though he's not a part of my life, I still love my dad. I still forgive my dad for the things that he's done. Forgiveness is a huge thing. But basically, I grew up my dad was a truck driver, and we were a family together, and basically my dad was a truck driver, and he got addicted to drugs, taking drugs, cocaine, on the road as he would be driving. I don't know exactly all the things that he ended up taking, but he had a very rough childhood, and basically I grew up in violence, grew up in that, so I know what that's like. Basically my mom had black eyes growing up. I remember covering my ears as a kid with my older sister. That's just to start out. As I got to an older age, I actually was touched physically as a young boy at the age of 4 to 5 years old. And as that happened, I don't remember exactly how old I was. I still obviously remember, but most of it's a blur, and I'm just grateful for that. But I went through a lot as a kid, and I always had this joy. I just wanted to play basketball. I loved basketball. Y'all have no idea how much I loved basketball when I was a kid. I would be outside in the rain, the snow. It didn't matter what the weather was, if it was 100 degrees or if it was negative degrees. Like it did not really matter. I just kept my eyes on basketball, and I kept my eyes on that. That's kind of what kept me off the things that I was going through as a kid. But wanted to assume that they automatically wanted to assume that maybe I was just this privileged dude growing up. There was times I got picked on, I got called names, all these things. I even ended up getting picked on by even some of my so-called friends at the time. Like, I just look back now, and it's like I used to, from all the things that I went through as a child, I was just always told, basically, like, whatever, when something happens, I just kept my mouth shut. I let people run over me, and I still just had that light. I even went through high school, and I used to hang around people that would drink and party and stuff like that, and I would not drink. I would not do those things. Like, I was totally against those things because of my family history. There's a lot of addictions that run in my family on my dad's side, and even on my mom's side as well, like depression, anxiety, all these things. Like, it's either people end up in my family, it was either drugs or it's antidepressants, and pills, all these other things just to cope with reality. So that's just first and foremost. When I was, for me going through that stuff when I was a kid, I even developed a porn addiction at a very, very young age. I was a kid, so I didn't know any better. Basically, as I went through high school, I told you guys I didn't drink, I didn't party. I was basically the dude who was just the DD for my friends. Like, I would go to these parties and go to these places, and when I got to my senior year, I did end up drinking, a few times. I didn't really get that drunk besides like one time, and I was like super, super sick. I remember, like, off of like beer. And I ended up even trying weed for the first time, like right after I tried it in middle school, but I ended up trying it, I tried it one time, and then I ended up trying it again after high school. But after that, my main focus after high school was this YouTube channel. I started playing NBA 2K and 2K16, and I just fell in love with the game. I love basketball, so when I got on 2K, it was just automatically a passion for me. And as I was going through, like, trying to make it on YouTube, my family, disliking it, like, every stumbling chance they could, it's like they would try to, have me not make it. I would have never even got out of Alabama, in those years, if it wasn't for a really good friend of mine. If it wasn't for him, and God and the Lord, I would not have ever made it out. But as time went on, I remember I prayed for these things. I prayed. I remember, sitting at my grandparents' house and just praying, Lord, like, get me out of here, Lord. Like, I want to make it. I want to make it out of here. I want to do something with this. I don't want to live a normal life. I don't want to be like everyone else, that's around me. I want to do something different. And that's no discredit to whatever people want to do in their life. That's not me condemning them in any way. It's just I knew that I wanted to do something different. I wasn't afraid to go against the crowd. I wasn't afraid of people to hate on me, to talk about me. I got called so many names, like, I can't even like the names I got called when I first started my YouTube channel. Just my family was against it. My friends were against it, besides my one friend that helped me. Besides that, though, I noticed all these so-called friends that I had, as soon as I started doing something a little bit with it, I started feeling the envy, and the hatred that they had toward me. Even though I didn't do anything to them, I didn't do anything to these people. And I always just wondered, like, why do these people not want to see me win? I could just feel the envy and the hatred that they had toward me, even though I was always just nice, and I always wished them success, in this life, no matter what they do. I mean, that's just the type of guy I am. But as I moved out, and I moved to Orlando with Nate, and everything was going good. I was focused on making content. I was not drinking alcohol. I was working out. That's when I first started working out, and I was in the gym 6 days a week. I was healthy. I was working hard. I was focused. I was locked in. I was happy. At least at that time, I was happy. And you guys know, I decided to I got invited. I went to Miami. And I paid a visit the Team Witness House, if you guys remember, at that time. And I just went there, planning just to visit and hang out with some of them because I got invited. And as I went there, they asked me to join TW. They asked me to live in the house. And once I went to Miami, I'm just a kid from Alabama that grew up poor. And I did not know what it tasted like to, be around any type of money. So of course that's what really, really got me. It stood out to me, and I wanted those things. And from all the stuff that happened to me in my childhood, I wanted to. It honestly filled me with pride. It filled me with pride. I felt overlooked in my life. I felt so overlooked by people. And so once I did a little bit something with my life, and I started making a little bit of money, and I moved to Miami, it just made me so filled with pride, and I just wanted to stunt, on these other people, and I just became so full of myself And that was never who I was. I was always, as a kid, I was always a humble kid, and I was always a nice, I was just a nice person. But when I moved out there and I got around the Lamborghinis, and a little bit of money, and I even went to the Ritz-Carlton. I went to these events. I met NFL players. There's other celebrities that I'm meeting and all of this, and it's just feeling my pride. It's feeling my pride and my ego. And as I moved into the TW house, you guys know, I joined that, and that was kind of the start. This was kind of the start of the downfall of me. Basically, I joined that, and you guys know that Overtime recruited us. When I was in TW, that was the ultimate goal, was to join an organization. And so we joined Overtime. This was in 2019, at the end of 2019, going into 2020. They were just gaslighting us, straight up gaslighting us. They were paying for a house. We were living in a $4 million mansion that they were paying for. The rent was like $35,000 a month that we were not paying for, and they were also giving us a salary, and they were just guaranteeing us all these things like, yeah, your edits are going to be paid for, and we're gonna link you up with NBA players, these celebrities, and all these other things. So to me, from the outside perspective, and to everybody else in that house, of course, it just seemed like, whoa, it just that, they were even getting us. They even had us a private jet that we took pictures at, and all these things. They basically just baited us in. That's exactly what they did, because once we joined that, I remember, me growing up, I grew up in a trailer. I grew up in a single wide trailer. I did not grow up with anything fancy at all, even though, like I said, this is not to discredit my mom. My mom is truly a warrior. She helped us get through a lot of situations, and my grandparents, they helped. If it wasn't for them, then I would not have got through some of the situations. And these are some things I didn't even talk about with my family until like the last year, about some of the stuff that happened to me as a kid. This is not me playing victim or anything. I'm just telling you guys, this is stuff that I went through, because there's a lot of people that probably think that, yeah, I was at one point, I was egotistical. At one point, I was yada yada yada, but as time went on and I was in that mansion, I remember I would just say, like, I wanted these things. I wanted this rich lifestyle. I wanted to show off. I wanted to be able to flex and, show these people, that they slept on me, that, I'm, basically people that sleep on you. I was just trying to show them that this is who y'all doubted, and I was glorifying myself, just filling myself with more pride and ego. I even was getting on the basketball court, and I just became a different person. I became a cocky person, and just not a good person. And that's when I really feel like things changed. I remember sitting in the Overtime TW house, and I'm living in a $4 million mansion. Like I said, I'm not paying for it. I'm living in a $4 million mansion. I remember sitting in my room. It was like living there for like the first, after like a week or two, when I joined TW, we were partying all the time. If we were not making content, we were drinking. I was smoking. That's when I first started smoking weed, smoking it all the time. And, I ended up having a relationship, a girlfriend, and that's what we did. We partied. We were young. That was the excuse. We're young. We're in Miami. We're partying. This is fun. This is fun. This is fun. Well, that fun ended up actually being the downfall of me, and me absolutely hitting rock bottom. So I just remember sitting in the TW house and sitting in that mansion, and I thought that once I got these things, once I had these things, that I'd be fulfilled, that this is all I need. I get this and I'm good. Now this is it. And I remember sitting there after a few weeks and just feeling so empty, and just being in my room. I remember being in my room alone, and I was just like, this is it. This is it. This is what I've been working so hard for. This is, this is it. This is really it. And I just remember how empty I felt in my room, because not the guys exactly, but the company we were working for and the people around just gaslighting us and manipulating us and just being so nice to your face. I literally witnessed just people being so nice to my face, so nice to my face. And these are people that I thought loved me. These are people I loved like dearly. Like, these are people I would literally have their back through absolutely anything. And as this went on, there was gaslighting and manipulating. I literally seen just snakes all around me. And I'm not talking about anybody that was on the team, just like managers. I'm not going to go into names or anything like that. I'm just not going to do that. If you don't have anything that they can use you for, then you are no benefit to some of these people at all. A lot of companies, a lot of organizations. That's just how it is. That's the world. Money is so important. I literally witnessed money change the atmosphere as the material stuff started getting more and more in our faces. I just noticed, I started picking up on just how much money is changing us, and it changed me. I can't say that it didn't change me. Like I said, it filled me with pride. It started filling me with all these things. And as COVID hit in 2020, basically we signed a contract. We were not secure in that contract at all. And COVID hit, and they just dipped us to the side. Like, we were working on a TV show, we were working on videos. They were making us do certain videos that we didn't even want to do. It was their type of ideas, and it was just not what we planned when we went in there. They gaslighted us and manipulated us into thinking, we're about to, like, they just made it look so good. They just really broke my heart that just somebody could manipulate you and gaslight you and do all these things to you. Like, they're talking great to your face, but behind your back, like, they are your worst enemy. They do not like you. They envy you. They do not want to see you do good. And I'm just over here like, I want everybody to do good. I don't care who's doing the best. It's not even about that. I joined this organization because when I came here, it just felt like a family. I mean, it felt like a brotherhood, And I moved out to Tampa. I moved out there for 15 months. And that's when, I had a roommate at the time. And my roommate was, we were young and, we were doing good, working for ourselves. And we had money. So we had a little bit of money, and all that. So, the thing was, why don't we start going out to the bars? Why don't we start going out to the clubs? We're young. We're only young once. Come on, have a good time. These are our college years. We're not in college, but these are our times to have fun. Because I wanted validation from people, because growing up, I didn't have that validation. I told you I fit in some ways because of sports, but I was always overlooked. So I just wanted people to like me. I was doing these things for the wrong reason. And as I kept drinking and drinking, I kept drinking on the weekends. I was still working out and all that, but I was still going out, and things were not going good. I ended up moving to Orlando after the 15 months, and I was there for over a year. And this is when my drinking started getting really, 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 really bad. It's like the drinking caught up to me. I have an addictive personality. As I told you guys, it runs in my genetics, it runs in my genes. So once I start doing something and I commit to something, it's like, that's what I'm on. Like, I'm all in. I'm the type of person, it's either I'm all in on something or I'm not in at all. So that went for drinking, and that went from doing drugs too, smoking weed and doing all that. I was basically in there for over a year, and this is when I started drinking more and more. As the last few months I'm in Orlando, I'm just filled with depression, I'm filled with anxiety, I'm filled with pride, I'm filled with all these bad things in me. And I used alcohol and marijuana to cope with these things. And it even got to the point to where I was drinking every single day. And when I tell you I was drinking every single day, I wasn't just drinking, a couple shots or a couple beers or anything like that. It even got to the point where I was drinking a 32-liter bottle of Tito's. I was going through a 32-liter bottle of Tito's every other day. That's how bad my depression was, my anxiety was, and just emptiness in me. I was so depressed, and I got to the point where I didn't trust people because of so many things that have happened to me in my life. I just had so much anger in me. I had so much anger in me, and as I was drinking more and more, they call alcohol spirits for a reason. And I'm telling you right now, from my own personal experience, yes, I was tormented by demons. I remember sleeping in my room after drinking so much. I was just drowning myself. I even had sleep paralysis one time, and I was up for days. I could not sleep. This is the first time I encountered something very, very demonic. And I remember I couldn't sleep, and I even got kicked out of the place I was living at. So I could not move. I was up for days. And I did not have the strength or anything to move. I literally had to call some of my family members 3 hours away from Jacksonville to come over to the house in Orlando to literally get me out of the house that I was in, because I was in that house basically alone. So I was just alone in my thoughts, and I would go to the gym, and I would go to the gym and all that, but when I would get back from the gym, I would just be shot, smoke. That was what I was doing, and it was horrible. I was absolutely killing my body. Once I moved out of there, I remember my cousin came over, and he saw the bottles I had. I had bottles all in my room, big Tito's bottles in my room, and you could just see his face. He was worried. He knew that something wasn't right with me. He even went in there and dumped some of the one of my bottles out, and I of course got really angry at the time because I was an alcoholic, and I was very angry with him for dumping my alcohol out. And so basically I moved out of there, and I moved back home. I was an alcoholic still. My alcoholism wasn't getting any better. I stopped streaming. I stopped uploading videos. I basically did not care to live at all anymore. I did not want to be on this earth. I was just wondering, why am I here? Why is all this happening to me? What is the purpose of life? What is my purpose for being here? I just felt so discouraged, and I felt so empty, and I was so heartbroken, and I was so angry that it got to the point where drinking, I was pushing everyone away. I was pushing everyone out of my life. If someone did any little thing to me at all, I wanted to go off on them. I wanted to fight them. I wanted to do all these things, because I was just angry, and the alcohol, that spirit that came into me was messing with me and making things a lot worse. And at this time, I moved back home I moved to Georgia at this time with my family, and I ended up going out with a friend to Tennessee. We went out to a bar, and I let him drive my car, and we ended up going to a bar, and as I'm on the way to the bar, I'm just downing a whole thing of vodka, just downing every single bit of it. This wasn't a 32 ounce, but it was a good sized bottle, and I just remember downing every single bit of it before I went to this bar. And I ended up getting into a fight that I don't even remember. I still to this day don't even remember what happened. I just remember I got kicked out of the bar. You guys could see from the thumbnail, I had this cut. I don't even remember how I had this cut. I know I had tons of bouncers throw me out of this bar, and then this cop, he ended up arresting me. He basically told me to leave, and I had to come back. I told him my friend was in there. My friend had the keys, and he basically told me not to come back around here. So he put me under arrest for public intoxication. I got retaliation. I got resisting arrest, And that night, I remember bits and pieces of that night, but it's just crazy to me to this day. I still do not remember really what all happened, and that's how you know that I was fully possessed. When I was blackout drunk, I was possessed by something else, and it was not me. It ended up not being me. And it was just a horrible situation. This is the first time that I got arrested. Got out. The very next weekend, me and my friend decided we want to go out again. I'm driving, and as I'm driving there, like, I ended up hitting a coyote on the way there, and it messed up my car, and all this stuff happened to me just a week before, and now I just hit a coyote with my Mercedes. And so I was just fed up. I remember like getting out of the car, and I was raging. I was pitching a fit. I was just going insane because my life was literally falling apart right in front of my eyes. My life was absolutely unfolding and falling apart. I was hitting absolute rock bottom. I just kept drinking, and basically it got to the point, if I didn't have a drink, I was withdrawing, and I couldn't go without a drink of alcohol, because then I'd start going through withdrawals, my body would start shaking, like the DTs. I had those DTs before, like they were horrible. I just noticed more and more that because I was drinking so much, I wasn't drinking just a little bit, I was drinking to get blackout drunk. There's a reason why when you're blackout, you don't remember anything, because something takes over your body during those moments. And that's me exposing the truth right now about alcohol, coming from someone who used to be an alcoholic. And me and this dude got into a fight that I don't even remember. I don't even remember this happening. Like, so many of these things are happening to me, and I remember feeling that regret in the morning, but I still can remember just bits and pieces of what was going on, and I'm over here like, that was not me. Like, I know I'm filled with anger and all these other things, and I'm at rock bottom right now, but I was like, I'm telling you right now, that was not me that did that. And that's when I started praying. I started giving it to the Lord. And because nothing else was helping me. Like, I have family in my ear, like, they're trying to understand what I'm going through, but they're not understanding. They're just recommending me, you need to go get help, you need to go to rehab, you need to get on medicine, all these other things they're telling me to do. But I started praying to the Lord. Like, I started praying to the Lord, and the Lord literally saved my life. The Lord Jesus Christ saved my life. I moved out of Georgia, and I actually moved where I'm at right now. I'm back in Alabama. I've moved so many times at this point. And I just prayed to the Lord. I just prayed, Lord. I remember I prayed, Lord, to take it away from me, Lord, to not let me have the urge anymore to drink anymore, to never do it again. I knew that I could not. I finally dropped my pride, and I dropped my ego, and I surrendered to the Lord. And the Lord took it away from me. I never have picked up a drink to this day. I have never picked up a drink of alcohol to this day. It's been 11 months now since the last time I drank alcohol. I had so many things happen to me. I ended up, even during those times, like, I went to a party, and I even tried cocaine a few times. I remember one time I got invited to an after party of EDC in Orlando, and this, I brought drinks, and then a guy let me have, cocaine, and I just remember doing lines over and over, like a ton of lines. I can't remember how many I did. The only way that I could have survived that situation is the Lord. After I did those lines of cocaine, I basically blacked out. I don't remember what I did. I just remember, like, I was so gone, like, I was so out of it. I even got kicked out of the party. They kicked me out, and I was raging on the way out, like, that I ended up driving home 30 minutes away from where I was at. I drove home going over 100 miles per hour, basically the whole way back. And I was absolutely out of my mind. So I know that the Lord was with me. Like, there's no way on earth I made that trip back home. Still alive, I was protected. Like, the Lord absolutely protected me. And like I said, still this day, I'm 11 months sober. I still have yet to have a drink of alcohol. And it's all glory to the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'm just making this video. I just want y'all to know that He loves y'all, man. Like, whatever you're going through in this life, man, you can't find happiness. You can't find fulfillment in drugs and money and fame, all these things in the world that society pushes on us. You can't find it in anything else. The only thing you can find fulfillment in, and the only one that can heal you, is the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I promise you, I tried everything. I tried so many things to fulfill me. And the only person in this world, and He came to me with open arms even after all the things I did, the person that I was. I prayed to make it out of Alabama, and I turned my back on Him. I started living for the enemy, even though I wasn't purposely doing that. That's what I was doing. I was living for the world. And the Lord humbled me. I went through some very, 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 very dark times. And I wouldn't trade these times, because I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't trade for where I'm at right now. If I had, if I got offered all this money, I would not trade where I'm at right now because of how far I've came and just how close I became with the Lord Jesus Christ. He is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. He is the only one that can help you in this life. He's the only one. I'm telling you right now, I did not go to rehab. I prayed, I kept on praying, I surrendered to Him, I humbled myself, I cried out to Him, and He saved my life. He literally saved my life, even though I did not deserve it. I did not deserve it. I didn't. And it's the same way with you. It doesn't matter what you've done in this world. It doesn't matter how bad of things you have done in this world. The Lord loves you. He loves you so much. He loves you unconditionally. No human being can love you the way that He loves you. He is God. He was resurrected from the dead on the third day. He is God. And I'm making this video for you guys because I just hope that it touches your heart. And if whatever it is that you're going through, if you have anxiety, if you have pain, whatever it is in this life, the Lord Jesus Christ comes to you with open arms. I was ashamed of myself. I was so ashamed of myself. I didn't want people to see me. I ended up getting to 280 pounds. My face is bloated. My stomach is round. Like, I was at my all-time worst, my lowest of the lowest, and He came and He saved my life, y'all. I'm telling you right now, He saved my life. I cannot live without Him. I already said I will lose it. I've already lost everything, and I cannot lose Him. So now I live my life for the Lord. I'm not asking you guys to come on here and feel sorry for me. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I'm making this video to glorify the Lord. If you're in a very dark place right now, or whatever it is that you're going through, they should take this as a reminder to reach out to the Lord. For content based on the Lord, I'm not sure exactly where my content will go from here, but if you guys would like to be a part of it, hit that subscribe button, like the video if y'all can. If y'all did enjoy, I appreciate y'all.
I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first, the beginning, and the end.